that, are going to want to try to support us because, we're doing something good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyways, that was just a thought. So, what's you feeling? What you feeling? What's up?
About what? About what? Like, what are you trying to get at?
I just completely switched channels, bro. I'm sorry. So going back to what you're talking about, I just going back to our channel, our session. This is our session right now, bro.
Is this it?
Puff pass. So this is our session. What's up? What's the plan here? What do we got? What are we feeling?
So I just switched us live. So now we're going live, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out, what point where we could start, really making something of this YouTube channel,
What's the topic? Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live right now.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry. I'm over here having a private conversation on live.
Well, no, I just switched it live just like 3 minutes ago. So.
Oh, okay. And you know what? Really, it's
or
not
just
even
a minute
that,
ago.
It's really not even that big of a deal. You know why? Because the reality is that there needs to be excitement there. We're doing this not just for ourselves. We're doing this to prove to ourselves and to prove to everybody that it doesn't matter where you're at in life, right? We can continue to do things and get ourselves back on track regardless of whatever's happened, right? Some of us are going through whatever it is that we're going through. It can be divorce, it can be downsized, it can be dealing with medical conditions, it can be I lost my job. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
And so I'm like all pumped up right now because I just got out of the gym. I finished a week, and I don't mean to take on like the whole thing right now, but I'm just like, I'm getting out of the gym. I'm pumped because I've been working out I've been changing my lifestyle, I should say, for the last 6, 7 months now, 8 months now, consistently just pounding away at the fat man that I became, that I allowed myself to become. I've lost 75 pounds so far, and I haven't done anything drastic. I didn't go on this sort of diet or that sort of diet. I didn't do any of that. I've been on just disciplining myself to do the right things.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm on the same boat as you, man. I mean, I think most of the people that are going to be watching this channel are going to relate to us because because I'm looking for people like us, people that are like in our tribe, people like that go through the same kind of shit that we do, and that's that's just that daily grind and that hustle. And that, just trying to get to the next spot, but, you're kind of doing it your way and you're kind of dealing with other things all at the same time. And, you just get kind of like caught up and you shut down and then, you start doing whatever you're going to do, whether it be drinking, smoking, all that stuff.
Right. And what's great is that in the community, as our community grows, and it's really trying to reach out to everybody, right? I was watching a video recently just on YouTube of a young lady that does YouTube blogs and YouTube videos on just random things that she does. And it turns out that, she was dealing with, and it's raw. She's dealing with a divorce, right? And so she's speaking on her divorce. She's like, I mean, it's like, you think about it, you're like, well, why is she talking about her private stuff? Like, this is private stuff. But she's like, if this helps somebody out there, right? And it's like, I'm listening to her and I'm listening to her. And, this is the truth, is that, we've made quiet all the struggle, and the struggle needs to be shed light on so we know what the struggle is. Because so how often do we see people in the victory position, but we don't really realize the struggle they went through to get there. We hear the story, but we didn't get a chance to see it, because like we'll see a biography or something. Like I hear a biography on Arnold Schwarzenegger as an example, and how he was in Austria and he went through this and that, and so it's like, okay, cool, but obviously in those days we didn't have an opportunity to see him go through the motions of the things that he was going through. And now we have the greatest opportunity, because here we are recording, and it's like, I'm in the moment right now. This is what I'm dealing with right now. Eric's dealing with what Eric's dealing with. This is what I'm dealing with right now. But we're pressing forward, and we're successful. We're successful. I mean, I had a successful week. What about you?
Yeah, man, my week was really successful. You know, I hit some goals that I wanted to do. You know, I was really testing myself this week because I had really been in the swing of things, and I felt good, and I was getting almost to that point of comfortability, and I was like, you know what, it's time to bump it up a notch. You know, a comfortable notch. So, you know, I got the things that I needed together, and I just went for it. And, you know, it's not as hard as, you know, everybody makes it out to seem, you know, like starting out, you know, just leaving everything. And yeah, it's scary. And yeah, you know, you don't really know what's going to come next. But, you know, if you're not happy somewhere, you know, you just got to drop it and just kind of like move on. Am I right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I tell you what, I'm glad that you mentioned the comfort part of it. You know how I was telling you earlier before I went to the gym that I was kind of like, I don't know if I should put more weight on. I don't, you know, because of this and that. And really what I was doing sitting there in the gym, I realized that I'm trying to stay comfortable. It's really uncomfortable when I added the other 25, like we talked about. It was really uncomfortable as I'm doing the set, and I'm like, all of a sudden my muscles are like, oh, what's going on here, right? And it was really uncomfortable. And it's not that I can't do it, it's just uncomfortable, right? And so it's like, I'm pushing myself, and I was able to do all of my sets, and I was able to get to my max rep count. And so then what did we talk about this the other day, right? If I can get to my 10, and I can get to 10 all the way across, what do I need to do?
Bump up the weight, get uncomfortable.
You gotta guess. And so it's like, I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna finish the week. I was successful because I finished the week. I was successful because I did what I needed to do as far as my reps. But I did fail because in my failure, I realized my success, right? And my failure was that I said, okay, I know I can do 10, and I'm doing 10 all the way across. I need to get more out of my comfort zone. And so it's okay because I jotted it down. I know what I made. I know my mistakes that I made this week. I made my goals. I set my goals. I completed my goals. And so next week, what are we going to do?
Are you going to stick to the same goals, or are you going to bump them up? That's the question.
We got to get out of the comfort zone. We got to get out of our comfort zone. We got to get ourselves, we got to keep pressing forward, right? And so, you know, I don't got to get all crazy and do another, you know, 50 pounds or something like that. But let's get uncomfortable. Because if we're getting comfortable, then what are we doing? We're just
going through the motions.
We're just going through the motions. We gotta be uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me to have a conversation knowing that people are listening to what we're talking about, and this is my personal stuff that I'm dealing with, right?
Yeah. But the same thing about it, you know, this is also one of those uncomfortable things, because I mean, we are starting a YouTube channel. We are starting from scratch. You know, we're talking about bodybuilding. We're talking about gaming. We're talking about, you know, starting a tribe. You know, and I have my own business, just like Fonzie has his, and we sell products, and we just, you know, this is it for us. You know, we put all our eggs, you know, in this basket. So this is what it's going to look like from the absolute start. And this is, you know, this is how we're doing it. You know, just being two real live motherfuckers, you know, just trying to get after it and trying something new, and leaving everything behind, leaving all the stress and all the anxiety of you know, our next paycheck, because, you know, we're out here, and we made the decision to work and work and work until we, you know, get what we're looking for. And that's just about, you know, putting in the time and putting in the effort, and putting in the time on your body, and you know, where you're at in your life right now. Am I right?
Oh, Absolutely. And I want to touch on a couple of things you just said. I mean, one of the things is that, yes, we do sell products, and yes, this is a business that we have as well, right? We own our businesses and we do the things. But I like the idea. I was taught once a long time ago, like when I do massage therapy, right? When I touch people, and so what's our intention? What's our intention in us doing these videos? What's our intention?
Well, my intention is, man, is to let people know that no matter where you are in starting life, no matter what you've had, it's nothing in comparison to what you can have. And that's and then what you have is the result of all the extra shit that you've been carrying around with you. Those insecurities about money. The insecurities about not having a chick right now. The insecurities of not being strong enough for the gym. To put up such and such weight. And it's about being scared to put in too much work because you might burn out or whatever. Because like. Yeah, so what? I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and so what? I might stay up till 10, but my bedtime is at 9 o'clock. Like I'm not trying to be out there running amok and getting drunk and stuff like that. I'm just trying to get after what I know I deserve.
Absolutely, and that's great. And that's the whole thing is that the intention, right? The intention is the way I see it, and the way I look at it is that why I do this. I do this because number one, I'm taking the log out of my own eye, right? I'm helping myself first, and because I have a heart to help people. I want to help people, and this is just who I am as I was designed this way. But in order for me to be able to help people, and we find this a lot in our culture, and we see this, people want to help other people, but we're lacking the things that we need to help people with, right? And so it's like it starts with us, right? And so if I want to be able to go into the gym, do you want Arnold to train you, or do you want that 265-pound fat fuck to train you that doesn't know what he might have all the information, but does he know what it feels like to do what he's supposed to be doing? What's the intent behind it, right? And so it doesn't mean that the guy doesn't have the knowledge or the information, because I'm that fat fuck. I'm that one that has all the information and the knowledge, but at the same time, I don't have anything to show for it, right? And it doesn't mean that I'm not successful, because I've been successful in other areas, and that's the other question that I have, because we have, the what's our intent? Our intent is to help people, but it's showing people through our successes and our failures that it doesn't matter where you're at. And right now, I'm at the bottom. I'm at the bottom. I'm starting, that song, you started from the bottom, now I'm here. Well, no, I'm starting at the bottom and I'm still here. And so I'm still here, meaning that I'm still at ground zero. And it doesn't mean that I've been at ground zero my whole life. I'm at ground zero again, because I might have been the Twin Tower at one point, but now I'm at ground zero. What am I going to do with where I'm at right now? That's my, as far as my intention. And so the question I have now is that, when we talk about where we're at, the business and, were you not successful before?
Absolutely, man. I was successful. I've I started out, at 18 years old. I went to a fire academy down here in San Diego, and I worked with the fire department there for one of the wildland departments there for 3 years. Okay, and then for 3 seasons, I should say. No, yeah, 3 seasons. Okay, and then straight from there, I joined the Coast Guard, and I did my 4 years in the Coast Guard, and then when I got out, and while I was in the Coast Guard, I had, just what everybody else has, a couple of cars, wife, dog, we owned our own house and stuff like that. And then, I went through a divorce, and, just it kind of got to me emotionally, I guess. And, I started to lose one thing after another. And, I just kind of, just kept on having to still work at it, and just trying to make, trying to make the best of things. But, I had a lot of healing to do basically, but now I'm there to go, man. I'm ready to go.
And I'm glad you're saying the healing part of it because that's holistic health. That's like my field, right? A lot of the times we see these things as negatives, but you know, all the things that happen in our life are really positives because if you're still here and you're still alive and breathing, it's a positive because like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Are you not stronger now than you were, then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But going through that stuff, and then you're getting back out into the civilian world, and next thing you know, like because I was in the fire department since I was 18 years old, and then when I got out of the military, I was I think 23 or 20, 23 years old. 24, no, 25 years old. I'm 25 years old. Then, and I'm getting out of the military, and I had never smoked a joint in my life, and then I start with that right away, and then next thing you know, I learned how to drink in the military. So I come out, and there are people that don't know how to drink, in the civilian world, and then and then I'm partying with these people, and everybody's having fun. Next thing you know, uh, my life starts falling apart. I get a DUI, and then it starts going downhill from there. I guess that's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah, and the thing is that it starts to happen that way because there's things in our lives that obviously we I think the tendency that happens, and I tell you from my experience, is that when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan. And a lot of the times, what happens is we try to ignore the problem. We try to go around the issues or not face the issues that we're dealing with, and we turn to those things that we turn to, whatever it is, and it doesn't need. We don't need to be judged on it because it's a simple fact that we're all the same. We're all the same when it comes to those things. Some people will turn to drugs and alcohol. Some people will turn to other things. Some people will snap right back. It doesn't matter how fast you snap back as long as you snap back, right? So it's like once we sit down finally and like really face the music, it's like, okay, this is what I did and this is what I did wrong. And so it's like, okay, am I going to do that shit again, or am I going to switch it up this time and maybe figure out the pieces on this side and build from there, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're still there. You're the foundation, right? You're still, the vessel is still there.
Okay, so I finally feel like I had like right now in my state of mind, like I feel like I'm finally there. I'm finally ready to start, finally ready to begin. Start building up. Basically, like I had that dug myself a hole so deep, right? And then what's the first thing you got to stop doing? The first thing you got to stop doing is stop digging yourself into the hole, right? So I got past that point, and and this is going on with my my health, the way I eat. This is going on with the way I work out, my gym tactics, my sleep, my relationships, so I'm dealing with the like the 6-man pandemonium, of shit to deal with all at the same time. Why? Because I want to get out of it that much faster, and I don't want to have to stay in that state for so long. So I took on all that shit all at the same time, dealing with family, dealing with friends leaving, dealing with my bipolar disorder. I suffer from bipolar disorder, dealing with that, and just trying to get myself healthy, from the core, from the inside out. So again, like I stopped digging, and then I started really, just taking responsibility for every single, thing, whether it was good or whether it was bad, whether it was fair, whether it was not fair. I just took responsibility for everything. So I turned around and I kept working. And next thing you know, I'm starting to fill in this hole, and I guess it's concrete because, I have not fell back, and I feel really good about it. a big part of that was, cutting out some of my addictions, and that, like that's drinking, man. I got a DUI, and that's, that was a real thing. So when I got that sucker, I was like, you know what, things really got to change. But then, good old Eric, he has to be the rebel without a cause, and I kept drinking for a while after that until I just got, felt like I got in trouble again. I was like, all right, you know what, I'm just gonna put that stuff aside and focus on everything that serves me, and just ditched everything that didn't serve me, and that was drinking, partying, being out late, um, girls, all that stuff. So I just put that shit to the side, and I got my ass to the gym. I enrolled in school, and and want to take it serious, and really focusing on my personal business, my real estate business and my mortgage business. And then I started taking my vitamins, and there's an opportunity there. And I just started to really put all these things together. I paid $10,000 for a marketing school, and then I didn't use it. Now I'm beginning to use that, and everything's really just fallen in place, for the intention of getting my message of being able to start from wherever, because there's not very many channels or stories out there of the dude starting from scratch and just working through that. Everybody has already made it by the time they have the confidence enough to be doing something like this. So I just want to change it up a little bit and be somebody who is vulnerable enough to put everything out there, even the the scratch.
Absolutely.
Even laying the groundwork. I wish I would have had that part. But that was a lot of painful shit. That's probably some of the stuff I'm glad I didn't have on here. Maybe everybody else should go through that on their own, just so they know what it is they're talking about if they want to try to have a channel like this.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what, I can't tell you, in all the books that I've read, and the people that I've looked up to, and the successful people that talk about those things, it's kind of like when I read the Bible. I read the Bible and I hear, how Jesus was crucified, right? And I can't tell you how many times I read that over and over and over again. And, it was impactful. It was impactful, but it wasn't until Mel Gibson put that Passion of the Christ and threw it on the big screen, and I was able to actually see, like, the crucifixion, like, on video, like, the pain and all the stuff that, like, it was, and that still was just, that was just a movie, right?
Right.
And so, that was like, he was able to bring the rawness of what the crucifixion was. And I can't tell you, I remember sitting in that theater, and it was just the energy, it was heavy. People were crying their heart. I mean, uncontrollable. It wasn't even like, it was like just uncontrollable crying. And it's like, that's the impact. And that's the impact that we have. And I tell you right now, Eric, it's like, it's a congratulations to you, because I mean, I look at this, and this is the vision that I have on those things, is because I've been given that, and I thank God every day for the opportunity to see things in the vision that I have, is that every big, in the construction business, anything that's worth going up, has to go down first. And any big skyscraper in the world that you see right now has a deep, deep, deep hole underneath it. And so if you were digging unconsciously, you were already setting yourself up, because God's known you before you were even born, right? And He knew what you needed to do. And so it was kind of like you're going through this testing mode to get out of it. And we're at this point right now where absolutely, you're the rawness of what's going through right now. It's gonna be impactful, because just like you needed it, I needed it. We're not the only ones, and so people are gonna get opportunity to see this, and it's gonna be like, well, look at these goofballs, right? But then they're gonna be able to see where we're at too, because we've already been successful in our trades. Everything that I've done so far up to this point in my life has been a success. Everything that I've touched has been successful, but I wasn't happy. It wasn't my dream. It wasn't my vision. It wasn't what God gave me to do. And so I needed to switch all that stuff up. And so I thank God for everything that He's taken away, because now it's time to build up, right? I'm on the same boat. I can see the light now, right?
Yeah, it's like, to do this, I just had no other choice, you know?
Basically, you have to give yourself no choice.
I tried, I tried to be happy at my other, places of work. But, just honestly, just the injuries and that I have sustained, in the past, whether it be, sports or service, or whatever. I had to get, past those injuries just to be able to get to where I'm at, so I can start building.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it, is that life will put like stop signs in front of you. That's just the way nature is, right? Like, that's not the way to go. That's not the way to go. It'll do, because we're so stubborn sometimes, and it's not even so much stubbornness. It's that we just don't have the proper information, right? We've been misinformed for so long, and we're just barely starting to. We're in the information age right now, and so at least we have the opportunity, to be saturated with information. Now it's up to us to sort through the information and look for what makes sense for us, because this life isn't for everybody. The life that we're pursuing and the life that we've been given is not for everybody. There's going to be people in the E quadrant. There's going to be people in the S quadrant. There's going to be people in the B and I quadrant. Those things you can learn. We can talk about it in a different segment. But there's 4 quadrants, and you can look up Robert Kiyosaki on that, and he'll talk to you about the financial side of those things. But it's true, and it's not for everybody. Some people are designed to be busy bees. That's not my design. And it's nothing wrong with those people. You need those people. We need those people, right? And so it's just like, what are you designed to be? Who are you? And then you pursue that, regardless of whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And that
absolutely.
It's not judging it. It's not judging it. If you're a busy bee, if you're the guy that's going to go out there and you're just busting your ass, my dad was one. He was the man that just went out there and made other people millions of dollars. And he enjoyed it. He thrived in that position. But you talk to him about business, and it just wasn't his thing.
Right. Yeah.
So
if you had one piece of advice, to give our viewers, or to the person who's just stumbled across this, what would it be?
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what happens. Don't ever quit. Quitting leads to death. If you don't want to be in this life anymore, and you're that selfish, you think that you don't have anything to give, and you were given life, and maybe you and I were we didn't choose to be alive, but we're here. Don't quit. Don't quit. And they say the quitters never prosper, but don't quit, because we've all gone through something. We're all going through something. Life isn't easy, and it's a really good sermon and a really good speech that I heard one time from a guy named Les Brown. It's not personal. It's nature. Just like I saw a video time, and I tell you like this, it's because it comes to my mind. I was watching a video on spiders one time, and it's like, what the fuck what do spiders have to do with this, right? But just for a second, just listen to what I'm saying. I was watching a thing on spiders, and the spider, this one spider, it was like a wolf spider, right? I don't know the names of these spiders, but it was this wolf spider, and this wolf spider was going around and it was the narrator, was recording this spider, and the spider was going out and it was looking for food, right? And so it's looking for food, and then it ends up like on this leaf, and it's looking at its prey, and it's looking at its prey, and its prey is another living thing. No matter how you look at it, it's an insect, but it's another living thing. And they put the music like, oh, the living thing is just kind of pouncing around, it's just kind of going through life, and it's just it's just doing its thing. And this wolf spider sees it, and its precise jumps on this insect and starts to eat the insect, starts to eat the other thing that was alive. And this thing is getting sucked dry alive. It's getting sucked dry alive while it's living. It's been captured by this other living thing. It wasn't personal. The spider didn't go out saying, "You're in my territory." That it was hungry. And so check this out. So then the spider finishes eating, and it was just the most eye-opening thing for me. And they do this on purpose because it's nature. And I'm talking about maybe 30 seconds later, the spider is doing the same thing. It's like, oh, I already ate. I'm cool. And it's walking around, and then boom, it gets jacked up by a reptile.
It's the circle of life, man.
It's just it's not personal.
Yeah,
it's not personal.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. With all the struggles that I've been going through, life has been real tough on me. I've had injuries that stopped me from pursuing my dreams. And they're real life injuries, and I had to get past one, the emotional, and two, now the physical. And I'm past both of those now. And I'm starting to really feel good about myself again. And they used to make fun of me, when I was going in my Coast Guard and in one of the A schools. They used to make fun of me that I was too dumb to quit, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Like I'm just not gonna quit. It doesn't matter how hard it gets, and I'm just gonna keep rolling, keep busting through. And that's with everything.
But were you successful after? Because you didn't quit.
Absolutely.
And so who was dumb? Right? You're always going to have negative. There's always going to be negatives, right? They always say there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people out there that want to try to get you to stop doing what you're doing. And it's like, no. And
I tell you what, Fonzie, I was probably the biggest hater on myself.
Yeah.
I was probably the biggest hater on myself. You know why? Because no one gives a shit what I'm doing. Nobody that knows me gives a shit what I'm doing. So I was like, all right, fine. I'm gonna go just do my shit then. I'm just gonna go do me. And as soon as I made that snap, as soon as I made that transition, everything in life, really did, just the tables have turned. Once you get to that point, just the tables turn and just everything just comes easy again, like it used to. Like just deals and loot and chicks and all this stuff. It just comes easy now. It just comes to me, and I ain't got to do nothing anymore. I put in the work. I put in the time now. Now I'm starting to reap those rewards, and it feels great, man.
Absolutely. And you just gotta find what it is for you. It doesn't have to be what Eric's doing. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing. It's got to be what's right for you, right? What is it that you're being called to do? What is it that's just been bugging you and getting you? Because there's got to be something.
It's just spreading the message of like what it actually takes to go from the bottom to the top.
Right.
What it actually takes to be successful. What it actually takes. Not what it actually. Not like some half-assed version or whatever. Like what it actually takes. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning and putting in the hard day's work and then going to bed super early because you're just exhausted from all the, work that you've been putting in, actual work. It doesn't matter, what type of work, because everything is, sucks up your mind too.
Absolutely.
You're getting a mind workout as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Well, I think that's about 35 minutes there. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this little session up, and then, we'll go ahead and get another session out there with a different topic. Sound good?
No, absolutely.
All right, buddy. I'm going to let these YouTubers go.
All right, brother.